Hi, my name is Kate. Welcome to my FlossTube. I've got quite a bit to talk about and not a lot of time because reasons that I'll get into later. So let's get started. So I'm going to jump right into some website things, well, things that are related to the website, I guess. I have been doing some soul searching and I'm not happy with the platform that I'm using for my e-commerce part of my website, which is called Snipcart. I keep getting emails from customers saying that they didn't receive their digital files, which is like, it completely defeats the purpose of actually using something like that, which is supposed to automatically deliver the files to you via email. So there's been a change with the application that I used to use before Snipcart. So I used it this time last year. I started using Snipcart at the start of February, I believe, this year. But before that, I was using Gumroad. And the reason I moved away from that was because they didn't have an add to cart option. And last month, they've finally included it in their product. And that is going to make such a big difference for anyone that uses Gumroad with more than one product. They've done a lot of back-end quality of life things. There's still a lot that they could do to improve, but I have been seriously considering redoing the back of my website to go back to Gumroad. I don't expect it would be a terribly difficult thing for me to do. I have actually kind of kept the guts of my website to easily like change back to Gumroad without going into too many technical terms. So I've still been considering it, but while I've been considering it, I've made updates to my Gumroad profile. So if you actually go to twolittlekits.gumroad.com, you'll see all of my products are available, just about. I think I may not have enabled fonts. I'm not sure, but you can see a lot of my stuff. I've included all of the things that I've released since I moved to Snipcart on there. It's likely going to happen. It's likely that I've already done it by the time I release this video, because pushing it at the same time as pushing the updates for this makes sense to me. But anyway, it's something that I've been thinking about for the last 2 weeks or so, and I think it's the right thing to do. There might be a couple of hurdles that I'll come across. So if you are watching this and you do purchase something and you do come across some kind of hiccup on my website, please let me know. I want to fix anything that is an issue, because I don't want to make people's lives harder than they already probably are. The other thing with my website is it's feeling very behind. I was trying to post at least twice a month on there for blog posts, and the last 2 months there's not really been that much to post. No, not to post, but I haven't been able to dedicate time to write and code up a new blog post, because writing a blog post is not just tap, write the actual post. For the way that my website is currently set up, I have to actually code most of the page as well as write it up, and obviously grab all the imagery that I need, and I need to compress it, and I need to save multiple versions of each image in different sizes. It's a lot. It takes a lot to write just one post. So that kind of leads me into another thing that I'm thinking about, which is actually moving from what I currently use, which is called Jekyll, to something called a headless CMS. I'm not going to go into technical details, but basically it should mean that my website would run faster. It would be easier to update, and it would be easier for me to release new content on there, whether that's a blog post or a shop item or a new page or something like that. So my website, after Christmas, my website is going to be probably going through some big changes. I'm thinking about using that opportunity to make some major design changes as well, because I'm not particularly happy with the home page, and that's the important page. Yeah, stay tuned. Keep an eye out on my website. I would appreciate that, and I would appreciate any feedback on my website that you might have, whether that's I really like this part, or please keep doing blog posts, or I hate this section of your website, please get rid of it or change it. That would be super helpful. A slight tangent, on my website I have two-ish new patterns. I mentioned last FlossTube that I was going to release the Office sampler, so that is officially live, and that's why I sort of say two-ish, because you guys already knew about that one happening, but that one's finally live, and that one has gotten so much positive feedback, so thank you. I can breathe easier because that one was stressing me out majorly. But the other new pattern I have is called Craft Store. Thank you to my test stitcher Jessica for creating that and making some changes to the test stitch that I asked for, because I wasn't particularly happy with one of the choices that I'd chosen for the amount of strands for backstitch, basically, and it just looked chunky and ineligible, and yeah, so she made changes to that and looks so much better, and I'm very happy with it. And yeah, you can find both of those in the links below in the description, but they're available on my website for you to grab and stitch for yourself. So moving on from my website and continuing with the new pattern theme, I have 2 new patterns that are being test stitched as well. As an aside, this isn't an official request, I guess, but I have been thinking about getting a 3rd test stitcher, and part of that is because I've been doing a fair bit more designing. I find it easy to do the designing in bursts, if that makes sense. So it's similar to the blog post thing, which I didn't mention while I was talking about that, but I get into the right frame of mind, whether it's writing or designing, and I just like churn out a lot of work. And I know that is sort of mostly thanks to ADHD. It's how I've always been, basically, which again, ADHD. Anyway, there's been a couple of times, especially in the last 2 weeks, where I've just been like, oh, I have an idea. Get it started and expand on it in bits, whether it's the whole evening working on it, or I will grab elements from other designs that I've already done, or other design elements that I've already designed, because I have files of design bits and pieces that are already in existence but not in an actual official pattern. So, you know, pick and choose what I want and create something new. And the more design elements that I generate just in general, whether it's again for a pattern that already exists or one that doesn't, it's easier for me, well, it's easy for me to be able to create new patterns. So yeah, I have ideas. I have you can probably see it in my screen because I didn't set up the lighting very well. You can see my computer screen in the reflection of my glasses, so apologies for that. I might I'd like to go like that, but that's not a great viewing angle. What about if I move this over here? That's a little better. There we go. Anyway, I've got lists on my computer and in my little blue book, whoops, which has been completely ignored for the last couple of months, but I have been meaning to get back into physically writing things, but it doesn't mean that the lists that I have in here don't exist anymore. So there's lists in here, there's lists on many apps on my computer and the internet and all of that. So I have ideas coming out the wazoo. I just need to get them done. And after a brief period of not test stitching a pattern, and I don't include my samplers, and you can come for me if you think that's a terrible idea, but whatever, but all my cross stitch and embroidery patterns, I want to make sure I have had them stitched before I release the pattern. And so I've got all these designs, but there's no way I can keep up with test stitching them all. So I've been considering getting a 3rd test stitcher to give my current 2 test stitchers a bit of breathing room. So if that is a thing that you're interested in doing, just to be 100% transparent, I cannot pay you for your time, but I can pay you with patterns, not just the one that you test stitch, but like pretty much whatever from my website. Jessica, the test stitcher that I mentioned that did the craft store one, I dumped a bunch of my sampler patterns on her that she expressed interest in, for example. So every time I release a pattern that has been stitched by a test stitcher, I always give them a shout out and a link to Instagram. And yeah, so I cannot pay you for your time, and if that's a problem, I completely understand, but I know that some people like to test stitch stuff. So yeah, shoot me a message if that's something you're interested in. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure I will do that, but it is something that I've thought of. So I have, that's what I was getting at. I have 2 patterns that are being test stitched. One is going to be called Old Days, and the other one is called Move Laundry. And I really like the second one. I think that's very cute. And that one's actually going to be a series of a bunch of similar kind of patterns, because I have news for next year that I'm going to talk about next month, and that one's going to tie in with what I have planned for next year, for 2023. So that'll be exciting. Let's move on to stitching stuff that I've done. So I haven't finished any pieces, but I've done a lot of work. Let's start with this one because the other stuff is all related. But this is my progress on the stitch along that is now finished already. This is Lola Crow cross stitch design, the Haunted Library stitch along, which it finished the Friday before my last FlossTube. So it's been done for 2 weeks now. There's no more. I cannot get any more behind. But I had to unfortunately unpick a big section here, which I've now redone and added more bits to. So that's all fixed. I think I talked about that last FlossTube where it was in timeout. That's right. I mentioned that this piece was in timeout because of that issue, but it's all been unpicked and all been restitched, and it's all lined up correctly. But the other bit of it that I'm working on is this section down here. So I'm up to the dark green. Oh, I've got little fluffy bits that I haven't trimmed. Anyway, I still need to do a reel or something about this again. I did a reel on it like shortly after reels were released. I made a reel on that, and I should do another one, but it's needs to be a part of all of the tutorial videos that I have planned to do. Anyway, I'm working on this chapter here and this chapter down here, and then there's two more chapters, I'm pretty sure. There's one here and then there's a big one in the middle. It's getting there, and I haven't done any back stitch, so once I've finished all of the cross stitch, I'm going to be doing all of the back stitch then. I have officially decided that. But yeah, it's looking very cool. Let's do a close-up. So you can still get this pattern on her Etsy store, and I highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun. My daughter really likes how colorful it is. I was working on this, I've been working on this on and off, because a couple of days I've really needed a break from my next work in progress, which is all of my ornaments. So let's go through them all. So these are all still works in progress. This is 1, 2, 3, and I'm currently working on hair. 4. The next thing I'll be doing is the decorations. This is 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the one I'm actively working on right now. 9. So I'm currently stitching his hair. You can see it's not completely finished because I was working on it last night and I noticed that it was 20 to 12. So I'm like, I should go to bed. And the last one, which I haven't started hair on, is 10. So once I've finished hair, which I've got 4.5 people to finish, I will be doing all of the decorations. There are 2 that have been requested to not look Christmassy, which is cool. That's fine with me. I'm still trying to figure out what designs I want to do for them. I will likely do my usual like floral kind of pretty things rather than holly and Christmas lights and all of that kind of stuff. So that's cool. I am super proud of how well I've been doing with hair this time around. I don't know what it is, but there's something in the air or in the water, but I have been kicking butt with hair every time. Well, not every time, but pretty much like every time I finish a head of hair, I jump on my my little stitchy chat with a couple of, there's like 8 other ladies that also do, well, at least used to do Stitch People stuff. There's 3 of them that I guess like retired from Stitch People portraits, but we're all friends, so they're still in the chat. But anyway, there's like, I think 10 of us total, and every time I finish a head of hair, I jump on, I'm like, oh my god, look at this head, it looks amazing, I'm so proud of myself. And that's really good to get the boost of, that's amazing, from them. So, because there's only so many times I can say that to my husband, and he's just like, it's great, okay, it's cool, you know, whatever. That's all of them, and they're all in their hoops that they're going to end up in. So all but one are in a 4-inch hoop, and there's one in a 3-inch hoop this year. That's exciting. I'm really proud also of how fast I've been getting the hair done. Usually with any portrait, whether it's an ornament or a regular one, I stress over it. I stress over getting the hair sitting the way I envision it to sit. There's only been one head of hair that I've had to unpick, and it only was unpicked because I picked the wrong combination of browns. The head of hair was too dark for the kid that it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a lighter brown, and I'd picked the darker brown. That was the only reason why I had to unpick it. Otherwise, churning them out, and I'm still feeling confident that I will be able to get them all in the mail before Thanksgiving. So fingers crossed and touch wood and all of the good stuff. Wish me luck. The other thing that's related, before I go into IRL stuff, is I have decided this year to offer gift cards as an option for you to give as a present for somebody. I realized that I closed off Christmas orders quite a bit earlier than I normally would like to have. I guess I kind of had been meaning to do this in previous years, but I officially have a design that I can edit and send to anyone that would like to send a gift card for, you know, a Stitch People piece, whether that's an ornament or a bigger piece. Like, I didn't include this in my works in progress because I haven't touched it this fortnight, but like, you know, something like this, that can be ordered too. Or even like the house piece that I did last year. Anyway, you can pick whatever amount that you would like to gift. So the example that I put on my Instagram this week was $120, which would get you a portrait with at least 4 characters in it. I am so bad at remembering my own prices because I don't know, it's theirs. People can look at them if they want to know how much I charge. I'd say it would get you at least 4 characters, maybe like 4.5 characters, or 3 characters and some embellishments on it. Anyway, you could pick, the amount that you want. You can tell me who it's for, and you'll get a gift certificate that you can print out with a code, and that code is a unique code for a one-time use kind of thing. I haven't gotten any interest right now, which is fine. I feel like that's something that, if I do get interest, will happen much closer to Christmas. I just wanted to put it out there in the world that this is something that I'm offering, get it into people's minds as a potential gift idea. Just knowing that there's an option for a last minute kind of income, I guess, for me, because normally Christmas orders I would stop taking them. The latest I've taken a Christmas order was the end of November, and that just means that I'm not getting the same kind of income I would from an order closer to Christmas time. Yeah, that's cool. And then, you know, knowing that I'll eventually, and hopefully soon after Christmas time, could get some new portraits to stitch, that's amazing. I love stitching these pieces. They are so much fun to design, so much fun to stitch, and even though I often hate the end process, which I include backing, photographing, videoing, and packaging, I still like it a bit. Like, especially the photography and the videography part, it is time that I have to dedicate and make sure that my kids are entertained or at school, ideally, so that they're not bothering me and I can focus solely on that. It's really cathartic to do that process and see them finished, and like not just finished stitching, but they're washed, they're pressed, they're hooped, all of that. So that is my least favorite part, but it's still a really good part for me. But anyway, fingers crossed that the gift card thing happens, because yeah, that would mean I would maybe have some orders to do early next year. So some things that are happening in real life. I am releasing this on Monday as usual. Today is Saturday the 12th, and I am going to be getting the pins out of my foot today, so Monday the 14th. I am both so excited and so terrified. The internet and everyone at the doctor's office has told me that it doesn't hurt to get them out, but I don't believe them. I don't understand how it can not hurt, to be honest. Once it's done, I'm gonna be so happy to feel like I'm properly on the road to recovery. I miss martial arts terribly. I desperately want to go for walks. I want to be able to just quickly run down the other end of the house without, not being able to walk properly. Thankfully I can walk without the boot, but if I leave the house, I have to wear that because I don't have shoes that fit my foot right now, because my toe is like that much longer than it should be. So I'm very much looking forward to going to bed on Monday, because it'll be done. It'll be done. So things that have been happening rather than things that are going to happen. My screen just changed. Oh, that's right, the background. I have a rotating background thing, and now I'm all yellow, so sorry about that. But it's a lovely sunset picture in my background. I'd get it. I've told my computer to change backgrounds every half an hour. What was I saying? Oh yeah, things that have been happening. My kids are sick, which is not great. My youngest was home from school all week last week. My oldest came home slightly early on Tuesday last week and was home for the rest of the week. Yesterday was a public holiday, obviously. I took my youngest to urgent care yesterday afternoon, and they tested her for the flu and for COVID, and it turns out she has the flu. She doesn't have COVID, thankfully, but now I feel terrible because I've just been like treating it as though she's just pretty sick. Not really sick. Yeah, that has put a cramp in getting stitchy work done. Hopefully they'll be back at school on Monday. I really hope, because I've got a crazy week every day basically next week, and my youngest is missing school terribly, and her friends, and she missed out on a birthday party last night, and she's missed out on ballet today. She missed out on martial arts this week, thankfully, because it was a belt test for her this week, and thankfully they're doing a makeup belt test because there was a lot of kids out. She'd better be healthy this time next week, because that's when it is. But yeah, she's missed out on a lot, and she's just a mopey, coughy little girl. Like, I say coffee as in she's coughing, not that she's been drinking coffee. So yeah, it's been a rough week. The week before was fine. The last weekend we had family photos, which was fun. That's when she started feeling a bit, We got home and she was just very unlike her. She was mopey and quiet and still. And then she started puking everywhere. But before all of that, we had family photos, and that was fun. I cannot wait to get those. Hopefully I'll be able to share them maybe next FlossTube. That'd be cool. But I know how long it takes for a photographer to get through so many photos, and they were Christmas minis, so she had so many so many groups of people to go through pictures for. What else has been happening? It's November. I cannot believe it's freaking November. And I mean, it was last FlossTube too, but what the hell? And the other thing, the last thing, which is silly, but my hair is behaving today and I'm very happy about that. I think I've talked about this. I've been trying to learn how to take care of my hair a bit better now that I'm getting older and it's not as strong, and I've had 2 pregnancies, and I'm getting older and my body's gone through a lot of stuff in, you know, the last 30 something years that I've been alive, and yeah, it's changed. It didn't used to want to curl like this, and so I've been learning how to take care of it properly, and it's starting to show that I've been working on it. And my hair, I talked about my haircut last FlossTube, but this haircut is feeling much better. It's because it's shorter, much shorter at the back. It does like a A-line kind of cut. It feels a lot nicer on my head. But yeah, I wanted to point out that I'm happy with my hair today, so that's nice. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else really to talk about. I did get some new hoops because I needed many hoops for this, but I did get these. I got these 2.2 inch hoops. How freaking cute are they? I don't know what to do with them, but I saw them on Amazon and I had to get some. They were a pack of 10 and I'll figure something out, but they're so cute. Actually, no, I'll show you in comparison to this. So this is a 4-inch hoop, and then this is the 2-inch hoop. Look how cute it is. Anyway, I wanted to share that because I just remembered I saw my stack that I haven't cut open on my desk. Which I will point out, my desk is a disaster, and I actually took a video of it, which I will overlay here, because, I don't know, let's normalize messy desks, I guess. Within saying that, I will end it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you find any bugs or something like that on my website before, well, I guess after I've made change to the shop, because it will probably be done by the time I upload this. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and do all those awesome things to help the algorithm, and I will see you around the internet. Bye!